The worryingly beautiful and scrumptious Renee Young.
Oh, that is easily the best introduction I've ever got. I don't know if it was like the accent. It was the accent combined with the word scrumptious. No one's ever called me scrumptious.
It's the greatest word, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
Are you a fan of the British accent?
Oh God, yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yes.
Thanks very much.
I don't understand how somebody couldn't be. I mean, it's charming, it's eloquent.
It's sexy.
Very sexy. Yeah, sexy, endearing, charming, all of those things.
Well, that's the best intro I've ever had.
There you go.
So thank you for that.
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat. Now, Renee Young, you are the WWE superstar who gets to interview all the other superstars, but you're rarely interviewed yourself.
I know, it's
weird. So I thought this was a really good opportunity.
I
specifically requested this interview.
You did?
I did, I promise you I did.
Because you just want to call me scrumptious.
Yes.
We just wanted to have this face-to-face introduction.
Yes.
I feel like it's cool. I like being on the other side of being interviewed, but at some point I might flip the script a little bit and just throw questions back at you.
Okay, this could be interesting.
Stay on your toes.
Okay, I will. Right, so you started your career as a sports show host on The Score in Canada, but I understand it was comedy acting that was your first kind of love. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was a thing, just like growing up, watching Kids in the Hall, SCTV, SNL, like watching all that stuff really was a big part of my childhood. And then it didn't even really dawn on me until like right after high school. I went and did Second City and did all the comedy stuff there, and then got into doing like some method acting, and sitting around in Canada waiting to be like girl number 3 at the bar wasn't really panning out for me. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go be a TV host, because I can just take a camera and I just need myself, and I can just come up with some stuff and see how that goes. So yeah, I kind of got into hosting from that, but it was really doing comedy and stuff that made me want to be a bit of a professional jackass.
And could you traditionally, men are funnier than women? Is that fair to say? Or is that an awful thing to say?
It is an awful thing to say,
yeah.
But it is, I think that's a common misconception.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I was watching, there's a documentary, I think it's on Netflix, about like women not being funny. And I started to watch it.
There's even a documentary about it.
Yeah, because I mean, people assume that and people think that, but when you look at, you know, the last 2 times, I mean, with the late show or late night show going away and having Letterman going out, that people were like, oh, we're gonna bring in Chelsea Handler, could it be Tina Fey? And it's the same with the Daily Show now too. It's like all these women are now all of a sudden being considered for these massive roles. So I think that is something that is going away. Because anyway, so I started to watch a documentary, and then I turned it off because I realized that that's stupid, and that's just, I don't think that should be a thing anymore. I think women are very funny.
And so what was it about comedy that you really gravitated towards?
Making people laugh is the best.
Really?
Making people laugh, but also like I have a very self-deprecating style of humor that I think
which not a lot of Americans do.
They don't, and it's
Canadian,
weird.
Anyway.
Exactly, but that's like, I think in Canada and in the UK, it's like they're very similar styles of humor. It's very dry.
Yeah.
Self-depreciating is definitely one of those qualities that, like, I mean, watching Little Britain was one of my favorite shows as well.
Oh, really?
Like, oh my God, it's funny. I just realized I was cleaning up my apartment and found a Little Britain coffee table book that I had that's just like filled.
I saw a tweet about that.
Yeah. I was so happy when I found that. Yeah, anyways, doing comedy is just something that I love. Making people laugh, being able to have fun, poke fun at myself. I really just wanted to find a job where I could get paid to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah, hook me up with that, please. I'll just have a good time.
And you also appeared in a Kelly Clarkson video. Mm-hmm. Was this during your time in Hollywood?
No, this is actually, I was still in Toronto at this time. That was actually the first job that I ever booked. Wow. And I was really freaking out about it. Because I actually did like a bunch of weird music videos. I did like the Kelly Clarkson one. I did one with Tom Green forever ago, which I booked by doing The Running Man for the audition. Okay. I had to go in, and they're like, but they wanted girls to be like actually sexy and like pretty and like look like nice girls. Yeah. I don't do that well. I'm like, what do you want? Why is this girl in a bikini? I don't understand. So I went in and did The Running Man, and they're like, that'll work.
That's awesome.
Perfect. There's nothing worse than walking into a room where people are staring at you and they're like, can you dance for us? Like,
it's a weird thing, the audition process, isn't it?
It's awful.
It's a really weird thing.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Awkward.
I'm so glad I don't really have to do that much anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God. It's horrible.
Any musical kind of bones in your body? Can you sing, for example?
I can carry a tune.
Go
yes.
on. Go on.
No,
not?
because that's the second worst. That's actually worse than someone asking
I've just
you
asked
to
you
dance.
to audition. haven't I?
Or if
That's
someone's
bad.
like, "Oh, you think you're funny? Tell me a joke." It's like, what? No, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of a skilled individual.
I'll scrap my next question. Tell us a joke.
And gone.
Actually, let's lose a lot of these questions.
Yeah, I mean, I can carry a tune, but that's it. I tried to learn to play guitar one time, but my hands,
Okay.
I've got like these little carny hands that aren't great for playing a guitar. But I grew up in the music industry. My dad is a concert promoter. So that was a big thing for me all growing up. He used to work with Anne Marie, who's this big Canadian songstress legend. He worked with her for a long time, and now he works for Live Nation. So I've always been around music, hanging out at concert venues, and like hanging out in road cases and stuff as a kid, just killing time.
And
waiting to go home.
so that brings us to WWE. I hear that through the connections your dad had, he brought you backstage at some WWE events. Is that true?
He did. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I mean, what kid didn't go to a party and want to like tombstone somebody on the front lawn? Like that was a big part of my childhood for a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, he was working at the Sky Dome in Toronto, which is now the Rogers Centre. But he was working there and then brought me backstage, and I got to meet The Rock and Stone Cold and Chyna and Mick Foley. I need to find those pictures somewhere because I feel like there's pictures floating around of like a 12-year-old me in like an oversized winter coat, just like having a great time hanging out with all these people. But it does exist somewhere, and it was awesome.
Because I saw a picture of you with Steve Austin. I think it was maybe at the SummerSlam panel show,
Yeah.
and you looked very pleased to be with him, as though there was a bit of history there.
Well, you know, there's really not any history because he would not remember that I was just some random kid, hey, Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin. So not any history there, but I love Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's a legend, isn't he?
He's a legend, but he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
You see him backstage, and he's exactly who you think that he would be.
He's so comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He knows who he is.
But it was really funny because last time he was here, he was talking to somebody. And I walked up to say hi to him, and like we had like this weird like interaction where like we had like a hug, but then he would like treat me like I was his daughter almost, and like gave me like a little like, "How you doing, kid?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go now." But it was great. He's awesome. I love Stone Cold.
And so were you a legit fan growing up?
I was a legit fan growing up when I was a kid. You know, I watched it, but mostly because it was like the fad that like kids in my school were watching, and it was like a big part of what we were doing and paying attention to. I stopped watching for a bit. I played sports a lot growing up, so that was always my main thing. I never really spent too much time watching TV. But then, when I started working at the Score, which I actually went to work at the Score because they did these very tongue-in-cheek style interviews, like man on the street kind of stuff, and I was like, ooh, that's something I could do, and I didn't even really know too much about sports, but I winged it. And and they asked me to do a wrestling show within a couple months of me being there, and I was like, yes, I can do that. Let me just do a little Google search here. Great. Actually, I was supposed to interview John Cena. Was my very first interview I was supposed to ever do. Yeah. So I'm like doing all this research on interviewing John Cena because I didn't really know what was going on in the world. And they brought him in, and I don't even remember what my questions were. They were stupid, though. They were the dumbest, like, idiot questions, but, like, I thought they were hilarious.
Right.
So we're standing on our marks, and we're getting, like, the count in for, like, the cameras doing this big swooping angle through the studio. And as I'm about to do the intro, they're like, yeah, we're actually going to cancel this interview. Because they hated my questions so much. Now they pay me to ask questions.
That's
it's
ridiculous.
Joke's on you guys. Joke is on you, because now what? But
so,
they canceled it.
And so how did you make the jump then to WWE? What's the story from going to the Score to...
Well, because I was doing right after wrestling, which turned into Aftermath, I already had a bit of a rapport. We worked so closely with WWE, having the rights to WWE in Canada. So they were familiar with me. They knew who I was. They knew how I was on camera and stuff. And it just was a natural kind of jump. I was finishing up at the Score, and my contract was up there, and I was kind of snooping around in the States to see what I could get going. And WWE was just like the perfect natural step to go do. There was no prep necessary. I knew the product. I knew what I was getting into, and it just worked.
Memories of your first meeting with Vince?
Oh God, we were in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and because I come from Well, I'm also, first of all, I'm a bit of a slob, to be honest.
Really? I don't believe that.
Well,
looking at you today.
No, but it takes a little while. It takes a small army and things have to come together.
Okay.
But I was really of the impression that normally when you work in TV or you're going to a shoot or you're going to do something, you usually show up without any makeup because you're going into the makeup chair anyways.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not a thing you do here.
Ah.
So I'm like winding the hallways, like fresh face, like, hey, this is great. And then I saw Vince and I was like, oh shit, and like ducked down. I literally ducked down a hallway and I had to wait. So like it wasn't really my first meeting with him because I actually avoided it.
Yeah, okay.
But that was the first time that I saw him and I was terrified and did not know how that was going to go. But yeah, I showed up without any makeup just thinking that's how the world worked. And lo and behold, it does not.
Not in the WWE.
But Vince is very intimidating. I sometimes see him. One time he like gave me beef jerky. We were like, I was hungry. I saw him in the hotel lobby and I drove by myself for some week. I forget why. But anyways, I ran into him in the lobby and I was like, yeah, anyways, I just drove and got in here. It's 3 a.m. I'm starving right now though. And he made me get beef jerky. He had brought to my room of beef jerky. It was hilarious.
I think that's an exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very funny. I was like, this is great. What a nice, delicate treat.
I didn't think Vince would like beef jerky.
Well, it's very high in protein and low in fat.
There you go.
That's the only thing I know about food.
Okay.
That's it.
And so you come from the wider entertainment world. How were people with you when you came to WWE? Who kind of took you under their wing and looked after you?
You know who was actually really great when I first got here was Santino. I mean, he's also Canadian, so he knew, and it's funny because the first time I met Santino, he was like, oh my God.
No, he's Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
He's Italian. Yeah. He's Italian. We met each other, but as soon as I saw him, he's like, my dad loves you. And he was like familiar with my work from Canada, which was great. But yeah, there was a few times that people were like maybe not being as cordial. And he kind of stepped in and was like, hey, she's cool. Be cool. In like classic Santino way. So he was definitely one. Summer Rae's one of my closest friends. Her and I kind of came into WWE around the same time. She was doing NXT, which is where I first met her, but when we first came up to like the WWE roster was around the same time. So she was always super cool. And Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn too.
Oh, what a ledge.
Yeah, he's great.
Lovely guy.
Love him.
And your rapport with Summer Rae is great. Like on the Total Diva stuff, you can kind of tell you're really close friends.
Yeah, it's cool. She's one of those people that like, even though she is a very good friend of mine, sometimes I don't know if she's intentionally being funny, which is why I love her. Because she'll say shit and I'm like, sorry. She'll say stuff and I'm like, what is going on? Like her mouth is constantly going like a mile a minute. Every single fleeting thought through her brain comes out of her mouth. It cracks me up. She's very funny.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's cool.
If you could interview anybody in the world, who would it be?
Prince.
And why?
Because he's Prince. Prince is the coolest. Prince is the godfather of all things cool. I want to see what this whole Prince aura is. I've heard that it's like that thing that you see him and you pass him and it's like, Prince. There's like this little like glow around him. I would like to see that.
Is he still called the artist formerly known as?
No, I think he's just back on to being Prince.
Just Prince?
Yeah, I think he's just Prince.
Okay.
I think he released an album, or he released some music not too long ago, too. But he would definitely be one in, like, can I say, like, people that are no longer amongst us on the earth? Freddie Mercury, too.
Yeah.
Love Freddie Mercury. And, I mean, you kind of can't not say Marilyn Monroe. I want to know what's up with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be your opening question? What's up?
Yeah, what is your deal?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Who are you? You're great.
Just going back to Prince, you couldn't really just call him just Prince, could you?
No.
It sort of takes away from the aura.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just Prince. Yeah. That's just Prince over there, no big deal. What do you got over there for catering?
Yeah. Marilyn, what have you got going on? Because Prince is nothing going on.
What a bore. No thanks.
Right. We've heard you've got aspirations to be a full-time commentator for WWE. Is that kind of your dream going forward? Because it's not a spot that traditionally is given to women.
It's not. That I think part of me, that's one of the main reasons why I would love to do it. It's one of those things people are like, no, we can't have a girl do that, tra-la-la. That it would be really cool to be the first woman to really do that, especially not being a wrestler. And I found that when I was doing commentary is that it's an interesting sort of angle to come from because I'm not a wrestler, so I don't necessarily have a background of things to pull from. I'm like, oh, that hurts because of X, Y, or Z. It's like, what do I know? I don't know. I run on a treadmill a couple times a week. That's it. So yeah, it's kind of having like that different perspective, but being a commentator for Raw or SmackDown would be awesome. I think that'd be a really cool role to be in. And especially just to kind of wing it. You know, I love not having a full script and just like doing the top of your head kind of stuff.
Do you think they'd let you wing it? Like, because we've heard that, you know, perhaps Vince can be quite scary in the ear sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure. If I got onto Raw, he'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? It would be an interesting conversation. We would develop our relationship a lot more if he was in my ear the whole time, kind of telling me.
He'd offer you beef jerky if you do well.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
It's like dangling the carrot of beef jerky. I'm a simple woman.
That is excellent. So what's your time been like behind the mic at the NXT desk?
Great. I love being a part of NXT.
Yeah.
Being a part of NXT is really cool, especially coming into commentary. It's like I don't have any experience doing that. The only experience I have is what I've done here, and it's a whole other beast. Like it's something that I never paid a lot of attention to. I was like, even when I was working for the Score and like watching so many games of like hockey, basketball, football, I never really listened to the commentary. I'm far more of a visual learner than listening to someone talk. I'd be watching and people are like, oh, that's a weird fact. I'm like, I didn't hear anything that just happened. Right. So to kind of get in that mode of figuring that all out is, yeah, it's cool. I have a total different respect for everything that the commentators do here.
People think it's easy.
It's hard.
It's a hard thing to do.
It's so hard. It's so hard because, I mean, sometimes with WWE, they're very specific on certain verbiage, and there's different stories that need to be told that it's not really just winging it. There's
Plugging
a lot
social
of work.
media and products and upcoming
doing
things.
graphic reads, doing B-rolls, bringing stuff, like it's a lot of work.
It's great they've given you the chance to do that, though.
Yeah.
You're really kind of psyched to be.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Hate to use the word psyched.
No, but it's true, though. I mean, especially down at NXT where it's like you get to experiment a lot, and there's such great talent down there, and I think the talent's really like nurtured well at NXT. It's cool.
What did you think of the NXT product as a whole? Because
it's great.
It's been making waves.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel like proud of it. I feel proud that everybody there has been able to go from NXT to making big waves up here on Raw, on SmackDown, you know, going into WrestleMania. So many of the faces that are going to be on the WrestleMania card are like new NXT faces as well, and I think that's something to be proud of. But I think what Hunter's been able to do down there is fantastic. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about yourself that fans couldn't find out on Google?
Oh.
And I know you've got webbed feet.
I do. It's very small. If I wasn't wearing stockings, I would show you, but it's just a little tiny, it's an adorable webbing. It's not even a big deal.
Is there such a thing?
No.
No.
Something that you couldn't Google about me. I'm a nice person. That doesn't come up on Google.
No, I've never read that.
Crap, what could you not Google about me? I'm a good cook.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I like to cook
food?
a lot. I love carbs.
Yeah.
I love pasta. I love a good sandwich. I mean, cooking wise, I made a really good like mushroom truffle risotto one time, and it was Emerald Bam. It was good.
It was what? Sorry.
Emerald. The chef Emerald goes bam.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird cooking thing, but that's something. I'm a pretty good chalk drawer.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a chalkboard that I keep in my kitchen that I will draw movie posters on. So I did Fight Club for one. I did E.T. I did Jaws. I had a couple of them.
I think you're the coolest girl I've ever met.
Oh!
Which is a
Me
shame
and you
because
are
I'm
in
married
love,
now.
I think.
Yeah, I'm a little bit in love.
It's fine. We'll work around it.
Okay.
We'll let everyone in on it. It's fine.
Can't wait for you to be my second wife.
Yeah, I know. Won't that be so nice?
That would be great.
We'll just be so happy together.
Yeah. I've got 2 children as well. That's all
it's fine. I will treat them like they're my own.
Oh, thank you.
It'll be nice.
Speaking of that,
okay.
I am a firm believer, whether people are in the public eye or not, that their private lives should, if they want to, remain private.
Yeah.
Having said that, people would throw garbage at me in the street if I didn't ask you this. Is there any truth to the rumours you are dating a certain lunatic friend?
People will throw trash at me in the streets for answering this. But yeah, yes, we are. We are dating. We're in love. We don't care. We don't care who knows it. It's true, yes. That's the first time we've ever really, well, he's not here. I'm saying it like he's here in this room, but he's not. But yeah, we are dating. He's a lovely man. Don't ever tell anyone I said that, though.
Okay.
He's mean.
We've interviewed him a few times.
He's mean and he's wild.
We've interviewed him a few times. He's got a certain aura about him.
He does, yeah.
He's, very nice.
Yeah.
But he's quite mean and moody. Is that what you like about him?
Well, you know what is, I can't give away too much because we are very private about our relationship.
Which is a good thing.
And it's because we respect it and we don't need people knowing about it or caring what we're doing. I'm not going to post pictures of us on the internet or anything like. But yeah, I mean, people berate me no matter what I post on the internet of tell us about Dean, we hate you. But no, he's very nice and he is adorable.
That's a good start. He's very nice.
He is, but but people wouldn't assume that. He's a lot different than people would know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole social media thing, do you think that's, because it's changed this business, hasn't it? Hugely.
Absolutely.
Do you think in a good way or in a frustrating way?
I think in a very frustrating way.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's obviously a lot of great that can come from social media, but I think that it's abused a lot. I think that people put too much stock in other people's lives that they don't know, as far as bashing people on the internet or, I do a lot of the be a star stuff as well, and social media and the kind of hazing that goes on the internet's really bad. And I think especially amongst women is really bad. I mean, guys can be bad too, but I think especially from my own experiences, that I think that there should be lessons learned of there should be reprimandation. Is that the word? Is that even a word?
Something
It is today.
It is today.
There should be some kind of penalization for what people do, and there's not. There's no policing of how people can behave on the internet. But it's even beyond that. It's call your mom, go hang out, go out for lunch. People are too much on their phones and not having real human relationships, and I think that's a shame.
And from a kind of WWE product backstage point of view, how do the boys and the divas react to how open things are now? Because we were chatting to Cesaro yesterday, and he was kind of surprisingly frustrated at how social media has changed things.
Yeah, I think, there's definitely some frustrations in the sense that, very rarely, not very rarely, there are people on the internet that are nice and normal that will give you nice feedback, but some of the time, that's not the stuff you even remember anyway. So someone tells you, oh, you look fat today. You're like, oh God, what? That's the stuff that you think about and look at. But at the same time, you get instant reactions from things, and you can kind of navigate it whichever way you want, and kind of, I think it depends on your own personality and how you perceive things and how that's going to kind of affect you. But ultimately, I just think there's too much access to things on your phone, and people just don't use their brains enough anymore because they don't have to.
Yeah, no one's ever said you look fat, surely.
Actually, yeah, I got one today. It was great. He actually said that I was pale, fat, and I looked like a man with a man dick. Something like that. But sometimes people I don't know if you can even air that, but it was hilarious. Some of the stuff that people say is so mean that it's funny, And I was actually just marathon watching celebrities reading mean tweets the other day, so it made me laugh. But yeah, it's very funny. You just got to block.
I've told my dad to stop tweeting, but
you know what? They don't understand the internet. They can just get to you. Dad's job.
Renee's nice. Leave her alone, Dad. Okay, so here we are, backstage at Raw, road to WrestleMania. Very exciting time to be a fan and a superstar. What's the kind of backstage feeling like in the road to WrestleMania? I imagine it's a very kind of hectic, mad time for you guys.
It's intense, yeah. It really is people fighting for their position, people trying to see where they're going to be on the card, what match they're going to have, how much time they're going to have for that match, how much time is going to be cut, and just leading into the week that is WrestleMania, which is intense on its own of appearances, and people have signings, and there's Be a Stars. We've got all this WrestleMania Today, I believe the show's going to be called, that they're going to be doing at Access.
Awesome.
There's just so much going on. So it's really exciting, and it's the fact that it's already here again is crazy. Time just flies so fast, but it's fun. Everyone's getting amped up. Girls are getting their dresses. People are getting their gear made. It's cool.
And what are you most looking forward to about WrestleMania? And crucially, what's your prediction for Brock Roman?
I just don't have it in me to go against Brock Lesnar. He ruined The Undertaker's streak. I don't know that he's stoppable. But if someone stops him, well, damn.
Damn.
Yeah, damn. What am I most looking forward to? I think the Intercontinental Championship match is going to be great. The ladder match. I love a good ladder match, though they're terrifying.
Yeah.
They're hard to watch sometimes because no matter what, it really hurts.
Risky business.
Yeah, big time. I'm excited to see what the Divas do too.
And how's that week for you, like WrestleMania week? Because it's hardly a one-day affair. It's a big thing going on in the Bay Area. Are you going to be a busy cat?
Yeah, we have. So I'm going to be hosting some of the WrestleMania today. I've got Be a Star. I'm hosting the red carpet for Hall of Fame. And then doing the panel for WrestleMania, which I think is going to be like a 2-hour panel or something. So I got a little homework to do. Yeah. I'm going to come up with some facts. I'm going to Google some stuff.
Do you get nervous during live broadcasts?
No.
Really?
Not really. I mean, you know what? It'll probably be different at WrestleMania though, because there's so many people there and there's so much going on. But I think like in that setting, I never really think about it. Which maybe I just it's like my brain just shuts that off. And I'm like, oh, I'm just doing a TV show for millions of people, and I start like sweating. I'm like, oh God. But yeah, I don't usually get too in my own head about it. I mean, there's still like a nervous energy in the sense that I care about what I'm doing and I'm excited to go do it. But no, I don't think that nervous is the word. It's more of an excited energy.
Do they say that when you stop getting nervous, you should stop doing the trivia? Is that not a saying?
I have heard that. But I think...
if we don't see you at WrestleMania, I'll know why.
That's why. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, there's definitely something to that, but I think it's also being comfortable. Yeah. It's like, and I don't mean comfortable in a bad way either, but just knowing what the deal is. Yeah. But there's definitely times that after you do a show, you're like, was that okay? That was fine? I don't really know what just happened. But we just go out there and have fun, and going out and having fun is where I'm most comfortable, is doing that stuff. When it's like very serious, buttoned up stuff, then I'm nervous. I get nervous to do Be a Stars.
Really?
I hate public speaking.
It's a very different thing though, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, public speaking stresses me out. Being on TV doesn't stress me out. Public speaking, I'm like, oh, what are these kids thinking about me? And it freaks me out. It's terrifying.
UK tour is coming up in April. Can we expect you over there?
I hope so.
Have you been to the UK before?
I have.
Where have you been?
I did London, and we're doing London and Sheffield this time, right?
Yeah, and a lot of cities, Manchester.
I only go for the TV dates.
Oh, okay.
I don't do the live events, which is unfortunate. But if I am going, I believe that me and one Summer Rae are going to do a little trip to Paris after, perhaps, which will be great. But yeah, so I've been to London, Manchester. And actually, I think that's it. Just London and Manchester.
What do you think of the UK fans?
It's amazing. Bunch. They're great. It does feel very similar to back home for me. It's a lot like Canada. They're excited. They know it. They're smart. Like they know what's going on with everything. And like I love hearing the British chants because they just sound adorable. Everything turns into a big like soccer football stadium.
Soccer. How dare you?
How rude.
Speaking of that mistake, finally, what is the biggest on-air mistake you've made?
I mean, I do mistakes all the time.
I've got a list of them here.
Well, I know one time I was trying to throw to a video package of something and I had no idea what it was. That I was like, and watch this now. Actually, no, when I haven't really had too many. One time I had a blunder here when, I feel like there's two because I remember people being like, oh, you botched that. But now I can't think of what it was. Yeah. I had one before when I was doing a backstage interview. And I was doing like the intro for it, but I couldn't hear myself feeding to the arena, so I assumed that my mic wasn't on. Right. So I did the restart of ladies and gentlemen, and it was in fact recording the whole time. So I had that. And when I was at the Score, we would do the stupidest things during the show that I would just be literally crying, throwing to commercial breaks. I was laughing so hard, couldn't even get out words. So but that's the stuff that I love doing.
That's a fun business to be in, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And very finally, that was a false finish. This is the end of the match.
Kick out.
We're going home now. What do you like to do in your spare time? What's your favourite pastime? I imagine you don't get a lot of spare time.
No, I have spare time.
Okay.
I hang out. I play records at home. I listen.
With Dean?
Yep. Yeah, we dance around the house, hang out, have food.
Dean dancing.
Well, people see him dance enough anyways when he does his whole Axl Rose thing, whatever that is. Oh gosh, guys.
Really?
Hello UK.
The hits have just gone through the roof on this.
Yes. I don't know just hanging out. I'm a big homebody. I love being at home. I've been huge into watching Empire. Do you guys get Empire in the UK?
What, Broadwalk Empire or just?
No, it's a show Empire that's on Fox here. It's awesome.
Yet.
It's really good. It's with Terrence Howard. I love the show Nashville. But yeah, ordering in sushi, hanging out at home and having a glass of wine is like my favorite.
And you still live in Canada or are you in the USA?
I live in New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's cold, so extra reason to stay indoors and not go out anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Renee Young, this has been hands down the greatest interview I've ever done.
I love you so much.
It's purely down to you.
I love you.
So, I love you.
You're great. Thank you for having me.
You're my second wife.
Yeah, just let me know. Keep me posted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that.